So, is there value in attending a coding or billing conference? You bet you there is. And as we go over to the answer sheet, that is the one picture is one of our CCO Club members, Barb, who goes to a lot of our live events that we have during the week. And then the other is the great ribbons that you get at the conferences when you go to regional or national, and I kind of think those are like gold stars. They're pretty fun. The other thing that I enjoy about the other thing that I enjoy about the conferences is the education that we get. Some of the topics that and mind you, there were a lot of different lectures that you could attend. But some that stood out for me that I went to was one by Leonta Williams. She goes by Lee, and she did Coding Inpatient 101, and she specifically talked about the transition from outpatient to inpatient coding. She did it on a pretty basic level, so she went over the different things in ICD-10 and PCS that we needed to be aware of. And, you know, I found it an excellent lecture. Then physician queries. You know, this is a big thing with inpatient, and now is becoming more prominent with outpatient. And so Amber did an excellent job of giving us the rules, the steps that you could use to not lead your provider, and I enjoyed that quite a bit, and I'll take away the information that I got from that and share that in some of the things in the future for CCO. An additional one by Michael, who is kind of like a mainstay at all of the events, is he did risk-based compliance and audits versus forensic audits and understanding the difference. So risk audits versus forensic, meaning finding errors. And I really honestly didn't realize that there was much of a difference between the two, but he was able to clarify that. That was a really, really good one. And then Brenda Edwards, who is a fantastic speaker as well, is Your Physician Ready? Coding, Communication, and Documentation. Again, this is really valuable for those coders that are in the trenches. Now, this was just a snippet. I don't even know how many lectures were going on at one time. I know that there was probably 10 at a time that you got to choose from, and they ran you through, you know, pretty quickly. So again, the education is really, really valuable and diverse that you get in both the national conferences and the regional. And this was a regional conference for St. Louis. I think they just got done with one in Hawaii prior to that. Now they're getting ready to do one in Utah. Networking has to be number 2 for me. Really amazing people that I got to meet, people that are familiar with CCO, so that's always fun. And then they can tell us what CCO does for them that they appreciate, and things that we can do to improve, and CEUs maybe that they're looking for. So that was a real joy. There were people from all over. I know that when I did my first lecture, I asked where everybody was from, and I was going to try to determine while they were working out, getting the slide presentation ready and stuff, you know, where they were from. And I thought Alaska was going to be the farthest. There was one lady that I met from New Jersey that had never been to a conference before, and just decided that she was going to take a chance, and she took a plane to St. Louis, and she really enjoyed herself. But the farthest away was the Bahamas, and I'll never forget her because she came and gave me a big old hug, and so I really that was a lot of fun. But what the takeaway is from having people from all over that are at these conferences is that, you know, everybody's got a unique coding skill set. A lot of oncologists were there, wound cares, people that specialized in the billing, multi-practice providers and specialties, and it was really, really diverse, a lot that specialize in risk adjustment. But the thing that we all have in common is that we're coders. And so we spoke the same language, and it was a lot of fun to get to network with them. That is pretty amazing every year to get to go to a conference and do that. Last, I would have to say the CEUs follow up the education, and this particular conference you could get 14 CEUs, and they were pretty, like I said before, juicy and meaty topics that were real relevant to what was happening in the coders' lives. The events were 1 to 1.25 CEUs. CCO got to do 3 lectures, and you can imagine, because you probably heard me do those, understanding the disease process in coding. That was my biggest one. They gave me a big giant room for that one. That was a lot of fun. Pharmacology knowledge for the coder also was really well received. As you know, we have a pharmacology course that we'll be launching soon. And a friend from St. Louis, Gail Gordon, was going to speak on population health management. And since we've worked together before, she had an emergency and had to go to Florida after the hurricane for her mother and wasn't able to attend. And so she and the AAPC asked if I could do her lecture. And so it was her slides and her presentation, and then I was able to give that. Really a great presentation too. Went over real well. So what do you get from going to a conference? Like the young lady that came out of New Jersey that never been to a conference, brand new at coding, and it builds your confidence. She was shy, but by the end, coders are real receptive to new people and sharing. So I think that was beneficial to her. The knowledge base, and it's all relevant and fun. They have a lot of fun at the conference. Networking, I got to meet some people that will benefit CCO for HIPAA education and some other things. And so, not only is it a chance to get away from your everyday life for just a few days and be treated really special like a queen, because you have to eat out, and the hotel staff takes very good care of you, making you feel great, and so do the AAPC conference people. So if you think you want to go to conference nationals this year, which is really big, that is going to be in Las Vegas. It's May 7th through the 10th, and that is the 2017 Health Con conference, and you can register now for it. When you register early, there's a discount. You get to pick your speakers. I went through and looked at all the speakers, and there's a bunch of great speakers and topics that are going to be at nationals. So I hope to see you there. If you see us, Laureen, I, or any of the CCO people, then make sure you take time to come up and talk to us. Is there anything, Laureen, real quick, that from the conferences you've attended, that besides those things, that stand out for you?
Well, normally, like, sometimes you learn a little bit about the area you're going to. They normally have some sort of outing or something planned, more for the social and fun aspect of it, so I kind of like that. But Vegas seems to be a really good one. I happened to be, my first AAPC conference was their first Vegas one. And it was my first time being a speaker, so it was pretty fun. But yeah, I still have relationships from back then, from that first conference, that I still have today, and definitely the networking is what helps. You collect business cards, you write down on the back what they specialize in. So if you get into that,
got all of these.
Yeah, it's like, who's that's really good at OBGYN? I need to verify this, or and that's really what I think is great about conference, and just the energy and feeling, a part of it. I now love modern technology and doing the remote stuff like we do. So my kids kind of need me more, so I can't travel as much. So I have to be very selective about the ones that I go to. But I like national. I like the size of that. Last year we had regional in Atlantic City, so I had to go because that's 20 minutes from my house.
Yeah.
So that was kind of nice because I could actually bring my daughter, who totally loved it. She was like all into the booth and keeping it decorated with the pins, and people would walk by, and she'd really get into it. So
And
future
another
coder
thing
there.
to remember, that national is the big conference every year.
Right.
Regionals is the ones that is a little bit smaller, but still a pretty big conference. And then your local chapters a lot of times will have, St. Louis has a conference that's the St. Louis chapter conference every year, where you can get, maybe 14 CEUs, but it's much smaller and is usually 1 day or 2 days. And it brings in, not everybody does that, but some of the bigger chapters like St. Louis joins with the surrounding. There's a couple in St. Louis.
I know.
So there's several opportunities.
Vendors, being able to
the vendors were great.
Go around in the auditoriums and, get a feel for new stuff that's going on, job opportunities, different coding books that you might not have known about that you could actually flip through, and so that's kind of nice.
This guy
too.
is
There's a question in the chat
surgery.
right now. There's a bunch of questions about our date here. It says 2017 HealthCon. Is that supposed to be 2018 instead?
Oh, yeah, probably.
We're confused about, are we talking about something that already happened?
Maybe I just grabbed that from the website. So you guys probably want to go and verify that. I grabbed it from the website. I hope it was the right one. It could have been.
They actually read our slides. Can you imagine that?
That's good.
Really, the APC conference have gotten so big now that they used to go all over, right? And kind of switch up. 18 is going to be in Orlando, not Vegas.
That's right.
There you go. Hi, Lori.
Hi, Lori.
Whoever picked
There's
up
Lori in the background. I know she didn't want to do that.
Okay, so it is in Vegas, April 8th through 11th. So
no,
we'll make that
it's not
correction.
in Vegas. It's in Orlando.
Well, that's what I meant to say, didn't I? And I still screwed it up. Not in Vegas. Oh, what I was telling you is that they've gotten so big, they can't just travel and do different places across the United States anymore like they would do Hawaii. They did Tennessee one year. Now they just go between the two venues because, quite frankly, nobody can hold that many people. Disney and Vegas can.
All right.
So there's the updated information. 2018 HealthCon registration, Orlando, Florida, which is going to be at Disney, and it's April 8th through the 11th. Thank you guys for catching that.
That was a fun one. I got to bring my kids to the first time going to Hawaii, so that was pretty cool. All right, lots of different ones. So they're breaking it up so you can experience small, medium, and large events, or what's convenient to you travel-wise. That's pretty cool. I know Alicia's talked about wanting to do a CCO conference.
Oh, yeah. That's going to happen someday, guys.
We should do a poll next time, Boyd, to see who would be interested in that.
Do you need more medical certification training? Go to www.cco.us